Hello, hello to you. Just checking. I think I'm on. Yes. Okay, I don't know that anyone is on with me, but I'm going to have my Facebook Live today, even though the world seems to be in a kind of weird spot. So I'm going to wait just a couple minutes to see if anybody comes on. Could be they're glued to the television. I've kind of decided I need a break from that. Okay. There's Faith. Hey, Faith. Good to see you today. Hey, Tina. Happy you're joining me today. I'm just going to say that I'm aware that the world or the United States seems to be in chaos right now, and I am choosing to ignore it at the moment and present a little bit of my normal. I think that's might be what we need. So, going to continue. You know that the celebration is underway now and that our mini catalog is live and all of those things are going on. And today I'm going to be using some of the new stuff and what I'm going to talk about today. I don't know if you've looked at my blog today or not. Hey Carol, how are you? But this is a card that I featured this morning on my blog, and we're actually going to use this pattern to make several other cards. But I really meant to bring this other card out first. This is one that I had on my blog, I think that was Monday for the Color Fusers blog hop. And I used the In Bloom bundle, mostly the pierced bloom dies to go with this card, or to make this card, and I just love all the piercings. It reminds me of the stitched leaves that we had in the fall, and thankfully that was carried over, and I just love these flowers. So I'm going to pull in the bundle. This is the In Bloom bundle. It has a lot of solid stamps, and I have to tell you, I haven't done much with those yet, but I have worked with some of the sayings. We're going to do that today, and then these dies. They are wonderful. There are 25 dies in this bundle, and what I love this little saying here, layer here. I haven't used it yet, but it's really pretty. I love all the leaves. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you don't have to do leaves over and over again, even though these are different sizes. Leaves are different sizes. Yours don't have to be the same on your work. So you can go ahead and cut out a bunch of these at once, and you are ready to go. Now these two that look just exactly the same actually face in different directions. So if you want one that comes out that way and one that comes out this way, you've got it all covered in this set. And then all of the flowers that are in here, different sizes, different shapes. Gosh, that could even be a starfish right there. But some of them are in doubles, like these centers here. This flower is in a double, and then these are, you can cut 3 at a time, these little tiny ones. So there's just so much that you can do with this. As I have said over and over, I love it. So today, I hope that I have all of our shapes cut out for us, because I don't think you need to watch me cut these out. I will say that it was really good to use my mini cutter with this, because all of these are small. But I will say something else about that. On my cards, I have used the same dimensions on them, which is the designer paper is 3 3/4 by 5, and then the cardstock is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Now, if I wanted to save paper, I could cut all of these shapes from the inside of this petal pink piece, but it is too big to cut on that smaller machine. You would have to go to your larger machine to do that. But it's just so much fun to use. So besides using, now this is the Peony Garden designer paper that I have used with the Pierced Blooms dies. I've also, on the samples that we're going to do today, I'm going to be using this paper that is from Celebration. It's the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. And let me pull that in so you can see it. Okay, so this is one side. And this paper actually coordinates with these dies. So I'm going to show you a couple of places where you can use them. I think it's this one that will fit right on there, if you want to cut that out. This one will fit. I think you may have to turn it around until you find exactly where. There it is. Will fit on there. And then this one will fit in here. And that one I might have to go around a little bit until I find exactly where it will be. Okay, so these dies, you can cut out some of the pieces in the Paper Blooms. Now in the Celebration paper, it tells you that this coordinates with the Pretty Perennials bundle, but this is actually the In Bloom bundle. So I think that that's a mistake. If they're looking at these dies right here, I think that's a mistake that's in there. And you can see they've cut that out and used it with some of those samples. So one of our cards, I'm going to use some of the shapes that I've cut out with the paper. Now, another thing that they pointed out in that picture in the Celebration is this paper that has all of the circles, and the fact that you can actually use these dies to cut out flowers or leaves from that. So you could cut out some leaves and use all of those colors without having to stamp everything first. Hey, Jane. Hey, Terry. Simpsonville, South Carolina. Good. Thank you for joining me, Terry. I appreciate it. You've made some nice comments on some of my cards. I know. So let me show you the other side of these papers. They're a little bit more subdued than the other side. I'm actually a little bit more subdued of a person, so we'll see how we do with these. So, as I said, we're going to use this same format on our cards today. So the first one that I'm going to work on is going to have, let me get all my little pieces out of my clear envelope. One doesn't want to come out. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use the same measurements. This is going to be a Night of Navy base, 5.5 by 8.5, and scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to fold that and burnish my fold with my bone folder. And then again, this is 3 3/4 by 5, and this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So just a little bit bigger. I don't know what it is, but I just love that format on a card, and I've got to where that's about it's about all I do anymore, so I'll get out of that one of these days, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these together, and I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue. And I am going to use this side. It's on the back of that one with all of the circles. Getting ready to put my glue on the wrong side though. So we'll glue this down. And I'm holding my corners to help me get relatively straight. You'll see it's not perfect. And then we'll get this on. And I think I'll turn it this way so that it goes up. Although I see, I'm looking at my sample I've got over here and I didn't do that on it. Okay, so this is the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper, which is one of the free celebration choices. And to go with that, I am bringing in a piece of the Peony Garden. I've gotten into that just a little bit. So I used my stitched nested labels to cut that out. And I believe this is the one I used. Yeah, so it's this one. And so I've gone ahead and cut that out ahead of time. So that's going to go right there. So I am using some of the sayings from the In Bloom stamp set. And I have set those up on my stamp apparatus. So I'm going to pull that in. And for the outside of the card, I'm going to use the saying, "You mean so much to me." And I have it mounted on here, and what I'm going to do is just move this label around until it's about where I think it ought to be. So I want it down near the bottom and kind of in the center. So I think that will work. And I'm going to be using Night of Navy ink. So I move that a little bit. Let me try it one more time. I think that'll work. And for some reason I've got two navy pads over here, so I'll put one under there. With that stamp there, it wants to stick. Okay, and I hope that I haven't moved that too much because I'm going to stamp it again. And I don't have an extra one cut out. I think that's fine. So we're stamping directly onto the printed paper or the designer paper. And now I'm going to add my dimensionals to that and then add it to the card. Okay, looking to see if I had any comments. I don't see any. Okay, I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pull those off. And we'll just stick that kind of down in here in the corner. We're going to be doing 3 samples today using this. So the paper that I am using to cut all of this out again is this piece. And I've got just a bunch of pieces that I cut out ahead of time. And I'm not exactly sure how we're going to fit these on here. But we'll do something. Okay, so I also wanted to point out that I've got some places that have other parts of flowers and things on there, but we can hide those. So I'm just going to kind of lay them on here how I think they would look okay. Let's see, maybe this one. And I did cut by hand some of the leaves that were on there. So that one, maybe I could get to look okay like that. And I really didn't do too much with the leaves, did I? That one we could do there. And maybe that one. Not too wild about that. Okay, I think something like that would probably look a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and, well, here's another leaf. Let's see what that is. Maybe we can find a place to stick that. I'm going to go ahead and stick this down with some glue, and I'm going to put, I have a terrible habit of just laying my dimensionals and then I can't find them later. So I'm going to put a little dimensional out there on that part, and this is going to go right in there. And then I think we'll do this one in there. So really all you have to do is find a way that you think everything looks well, looks good together, and then just lay it out, and if you like it, then you can glue it the way that you like. Now, since I have the banner on dimensionals, I don't really want to put my other stuff on dimensionals, although there I go. But this one I'm going to have stick out over the words. And so I'm kind of hiding where the stuff is cut, so you can't so much see that extra part. Okay, so that's probably it, unless I can find somewhere to stick. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, so anyway, that's a pretty simplified look to that. Get some of that glue. Probably should let that dry a little bit more first. Okay, so there's our first card that we're going to make, just using some of the pieces from the paper, and I did use the dies to give it that stitching and that pretty look to it. So there's that one. Okay, here's the first one that I made. I kind of like it better. It had prettier flowers that I could cut out of that piece and not go way inside. So definitely the prettier flowers there. But anyway, it's a pretty easy card to put together. So let me set that one aside. Thank you, Tina. And the next one that we're going to work on is, let me get those pieces out. We're going to use on the Seaside Spray cardstock. Again, 5.5 by 8.5, 4 1/4. And we'll use our bone folder. We're using this piece of paper with this one. And I'm using the fact that it has these two leaves as a inspiration for the rest of the card. So 3 3/4 by 5, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I'm going to go ahead and put that together. Sue, how are you? Okay, and then this is going to go on my cardstock base, the Seaside Spray. I think I'll put my flowers facing up, most of them. Anyway, I'm looking at these right here, I guess. And then again, I'm going to cut my little label from that same stitched nested labels. It's the same size, but I didn't think that would show up very well. So what I'm going to do is add a little piece of designer paper right here. And this is still from that same pack, the Paper Blooms Celebration Choice. And I'm going to try to use, I probably should have put this on before I did all that other gluing, but I'm going to try to use the lines on my grid paper, looking at that thicker line there, to help me get this on straight. Sometimes eyeballing it isn't good enough. Okay, so now we're going to put our saying on here, and again I'm going to use my Stamparatus. We're going to put the same saying on here that we did on the other one. And this time though, I'm going to put it up a little bit higher. So I'm just going to kind of get that about where I think it needs to go. And we'll ink it up with our Night of Navy ink. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Let me close my pad. All right, and so I'm going to add this again with dimensionals on the back. And I'm finishing up on a piece. Let me just trim. Oh, here's a little piece right here that I'll just put there. We'll take off the dimensionals. Okay. And we're going to add this right in there on our card. And then we are going to be adding some flowers and leaves. So just like I told you this was going to be my inspiration, I have the two different blues that I'm going to add, and then I have a flower that is cut out of a cocoa rose and a little center. So I'm going to go ahead and add my center. Now, when I cut those centers out, two come out. That's two at a time. Okay, and I'm going to add my lighter blue. This is the well, I've said it several times, but now I can't think of it. Okay, so we've got that. You hold that still for a minute. And then I'll put a little bit of glue on the back of the navy. And we'll just make that go up a little bit higher. It's acting like it doesn't want to glue for some reason, but... And then for the flower, I'm going to put glue there, but I'm going to put a little bit of a dimensional, here. So it kind of went the glue, but it'll be fine. And then that's going to go here. And that's really all I'm going to do to that card. So I've got a little bit of extra. I would have put, here's the one that I had already made. And on the inside, actually, we'll just go ahead and do the inside of this. Let me get my Stamparatus. Now, when I made these to get ready for the live, we did not have the Whisper White is gone. It's been sold out. And we did not have the basic white to our knowledge at that time. Now, it did turn out that this morning the basic white was ready to go. And this is not going to work the way I have it. When I made, do you see the difference? This one I made actually 4 1/4 by 11. And this one is the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I'm going to have to re-put my saying on here, because I'm going to have to put that there. So anyway, the reason I was showing you this is that in case you were running low on your Whisper White, that if you had a lighter inside, that it's okay. You can use that. I'm one of those that puts a piece of white in almost every card. But you really wouldn't have to. Now I'm just going to look at see how straight that was by looking at the grid. And we'll use our Night of Navy. Okay, I think that's probably all right. And then we will add our flowers to the inside of the card. So let me add my leaves. And then we'll add our flower. And I think I'll turn it around like that. And then we'll add our center. So there we are with the entire card, the inside and the outside. So I think that's quite pretty. So here's the one that I did with the opening long way. So this is a hot dog card. This is your hamburger card. Okay, and they're both half a sheet of paper. It's just the direction that you cut the paper in that you get those. I know sometimes when I have class, if I switch that around, it throws them for a loop. So that's that. And then we have one more card that we're going to do today. And it again is using that very same pattern for the card. So let me pull these parts out. And so we're using this pattern. This is again 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, this is again 3 3/4 by 5, and then this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces together. This is Night of Navy. My solid pink is Rococo Rose. And look at that paper. Isn't that pretty with that? Okay. So we'll add that. So if you find a layout that you really like, you can, you can make several different cards, and it'll look great. look great. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the card base. Break open your DSP. Well, it's hard for me to cut, I will tell you the truth. So I have to kind of make myself cut my paper. In fact, last week I brought myself to cut the In Good Taste, that really pretty blue and white sheet. I actually cut one. I was very proud of myself for that. So this time I'm going to go ahead and add my my banner without stamping. And I'm just going to cut these in little pieces to get that on there. Because it's still good, right? And I'm going to put a little piece here in the center. And I'm proud of myself. I actually knew where my pick your tool was throughout this whole thing. I think that's the last I need of it. And I'm going to put this right here. And then, let me get all my little pieces. I'm going to be using this shape. I love the little petals on that, but I'm going to use this shape. Oops, it's stuck to my fingers. And I'm going to add one of the larger centers in Night of Navy. So this is Seaside Spray. Yay, it came back to me, Seaside Spray. Hey Tanya, hope you're feeling better. And I'm going to add this up here. And then I'm going to add my leaf spray coming down from that. So let me add that. Like that. And just hold it for a second. Okay. And then for this one, the saying is going to be on a strip. Now, I realize I did not bring anything to cut this paper down except my scissors, so we'll just see how it goes. And I'm going to stamp this one on this strip right here. And it's the happy birthday. So there you go with that. And I'm going to cut here and here. And normally I would trim this down right here and put it across there. I'm going to attempt this with my scissors because I think I have actually everything else I need today, but I didn't bring a trimmer in here. So I'm going to try it with my scissors, and I am not going to promise you that this will look decent. It went across the room, and I think it's probably okay. So let me add some dimensionals on each end of that. And I only need it on the ends because it's going to go across this that's already on dimensionals. So let me take all that off. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here in the middle. And I'm actually going to move that up just a little and put it across there. I don't think I have my banner on there straight. Okay, and then I'm going to take, this is a bow that comes with these dies. Right here it is. And I've cut that out of the Rococo Rose, and I'm just going to roll up a glue dot and put that right in there and add that to the corner there. So there's that one. And then for the inside of that one, we will use just a piece of Whisper White. Let me change that to Basic White. That is a cute bow, Faith. I think so too. I thought, well, gosh, I haven't seen it used, but I'll try it. So we're going to use the You Mean So Much to Me, since we did the other one on the other. And you might think I'm strange for doing my Stamparatus like this and just moving the stuff around, but hey, it works for me. So we'll do the You Mean So Much to Me here. And then we will add in, let's see what I put in there. Nothing. But we'll add the leaf and the smaller flower on that. And I think that I'm going to try putting, this is some of our old adhesive. I think I'm going to try doing that instead of the glue and see if getting just a little bit of that on there might be easier. You know, I could have used the adhesive sheets on the back of those and turned them into stickers, and that also would have been good. So we'll just use one of these bigger circles on that, and there's our inside for that. I need to use up my old tape, although I did buy some when it was on clearance. So there. Okay, so this white piece is also 3 3/4 by 5. So there's that. So we've made today our cards using the Paper Blooms stamp set and the In Bloom bundle. And those are the 3 cards. Nope, those are not the 3 cards. Here are the 3 cards that we made. And for the first one, I didn't do an inside, but here's the one that I had made on the original. So if you're interested in the celebration items or the In Bloom, I want to show you one other thing before I let you go. Now that this is live, we can actually open our catalog. And I want to make sure that you're aware that at the back of the catalog, there's a summary of the things that are in here. So if you're trying to find something easily, it's kind of like an index. And it has all of the bundles listed together. And the samples that they have here are different from the samples they have earlier in there. So the one that we used today, let's see if I see it in here, is actually this one right here. So they used a little bit of stamping of the stamps and then also cutting out for that. So use that to help you find out what's in here. Here are the bundles with the punches. Here are the stamp sets at a glance. And also, that's continued, all the papers at a glance. All the dies are in here. So good to keep in mind if you are looking for something special in there. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I will hopefully see you next Wednesday. And may the rest of your day be normal in some way. See you next time. Bye-bye.